question number 69. We're given two numbers, and we're given what the numbers add to and multiply to, and we have to find the bigger of the two numbers. So that's the same as really finding the two numbers. So the question asks, if we have two numbers and they add up to 11 and they multiply to get to 24, which one's the bigger number? So in the case of the problem, we're just going to call one of them the bigger number. It doesn't matter, we'll find out eventually. So there are two ways you can do this, but really the ways are very similar in the process. So the first way you can do it is by looking at the number that they're multiplying to, and just looking at the ways in which you can multiply two, and we know that these are whole numbers, so they're not going to be fractions. The ways in which you can multiply these numbers in order to get that number. So if you have 24, you have 24 and 1. The 24 plus 1 is obviously not 11, so 12 times 2, that's 14, so that's not going to work. How about 3 and 8? 3 times 8 is 24. 3 plus 8 is 11. So 8 would be the larger of the two numbers. So this is kind of a analytical way of doing it, but there's an algebraic way of doing it that has aspects of the quadratic formula that you probably should know how to do yourself. So doing this purely by the equation, we can manipulate this equation and plug it into this one. So if we have a plus b equals 11, we know that b equals 11 minus a if we subtract a from both sides. So if we know that b is equal to 11 minus a, we know that a times b is the same as b is the same as a times 11 minus a, and that's equal to 24. So we have this equation, we just have to multiply it out, factor it out, get the answer. So a times 11 minus a is 11a minus a squared equals 24. This is obviously a quadratic equation, so get them all on the same side, and we can use either factoring or the quadratic formula depending on what we can recognize. So we've got, if we multiply the entire thing by -1 and then move the 24 to this side, we've got a squared minus 11a plus 24 equals 0. So we have something that looks like you could factor it. So we're just going to do the factoring thingy, where we take 24 and we look for the digits that add up to the number in the middle, which is actually the same thing that you're doing when you're doing this thing. So essentially this is just more of a controlled way of doing the same method. So we've got 24, we've got 1 and 24, nope. 2 and 12, oh, I wonder if 3 and 8 works. Oh yeah, 3 plus 8 equals 11. So that's the answer. We've got a minus 3, a minus 8 equals 0. So we've got 8 and 3, so a could be 8, a could be 3, but in the other case, b is just going to be the other number. It's not. So it doesn't matter which one's 8, which one's 3. We just know that one of them is going to be 8, and that's bigger than 3, so that is going to be the larger of the two.